Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Lifestyles Nutrition radio program. I'm your host, Amit S.Katz. As I like to say, I throw that S in there, or actually it was given to me to distinguish me from any other Amit Katz that you may know. Not many of us, but I'm the one and the only, or at least the one and the only that has a show like this. So that's me, Amit S.Katz. I'm the author of the book, The Frontline of Nutrition, 50 Treatments, Remedies, and Cures you can find in a health food store. A book based on protocols that I've accumulated over the last 20 years in dealing with disease and how to go about addressing them with just natural things that you're going to find over the counter. Some of them are just run-of-the-mill. Some of them are kind of exotic, but still available in all health food stores, and if they don't have them, ask them to order them for you. They will get them for you. I'm also the owner of Lifestyles Nutrition Center in Indian Wells. We are located in the Village on Highway 111 and Cook Street. So those of you who are tuning in for the first time, yes, I now have a radio show. Those of you who have come into the store and like, wait a minute, I know that guy. Yeah, that's me. Welcome to my show. So I'm also, last but not least, I'm the creator, the progenitor, the mastermind, the whiz behind the Amit's Lifestyles diet. It's a diet that's designed to get you to your target weight by first and foremost educating you about what to eat, when to eat it. There's 6 pillars to the diet. If you follow those 6 pillars, you're going to hit your target weight without hitting any stumbling blocks. And the more attractive part of this diet is you learn it one time. You follow, you do only 1 or 2 or maybe 3 monitor checkups with me, and then after that, you're off and running, and that means that it's cheap, and you're not getting plugged into the diet machine, which is a billions of dollar industry out there. And yes, if you're tuning in for the first time, this is the Amit's Lifestyles Diet, but the show is called the Lifestyles Nutrition Radio Program. Now, I want to welcome all desert citizens to the show. I'm talking to you, Palm Springs, Desert Hot Springs, Joshua Tree, Thousand Palms, Cathedral City, Rancho Mirage, Palm Desert, Indian Wells, La Quinta, Bermuda Dunes, Indio, and City of Coachella. How are you doing this morning? Well, it's not morning. It's afternoon. So how are you doing this afternoon? More importantly, how's your health? Because that's what we're going to be talking about on this show, your health and how to go about addressing your health. And specifically, what I wanted to talk to you about is your health and how it's connected to the food that you eat. Because we're coming to the realization more and more that a good chunk of your health isn't actually just a pure genetic hand. You know, it's not a roll of the dice that God threw at you and said, you're going to have emphysema or you're going to get cancer. I know there are some unfortunate souls out there who do have that, but there's a lot we can do. Now, most people are born healthy, and yet, through time, through the progress of time, something happens, something goes wrong. And a lot of times, it's our diet. And we're starting to realize that, you know, we're now in the 3rd or 4th generation of junk food eaters, or the junk food industry boom that has occurred around us, and the fast food boom that has happened to us, and the packaged goods boom. All those products that you see packaged in the supermarkets, all those crackers, all the breads, all the cookies, how can they stay fresh for 9 months? How do we do that? We manipulate the food, because food is not, if food is fresh, it's supposed to live and die. You eat it, you don't eat it, it rots. It gets into your body, it yields nutrition. If it's on the shelf for that amount of time, something happens to that food. It is no longer food. It's what we call vacant food or dead food. And we're living through that right now. And their whole generations have grown up basically looking at this at a box and thinking that that is food, when it really is not. I mean, you can eat it. You could also eat crushed glass, but that's not food. So what I want to float out there for you before we go to break is the concept of food consciousness. This is what I'm talking about. So when you walk into that supermarket, boom, on goes a little light in your head. I'd like to encourage you to, each and every one of you out there, to have that little light. So you walk into let's put it this way. It's a light followed by a question mark. That would really be the right thing to do. So let's say you walk, today you got up in the morning and you got to your refrigerator and you opened it. And what did you see? You're missing a few items. Okay, so you wrote on your roster, or on your list, or on your things to do, we're going down to the supermarket today. You got your cart, you walked in, the door, like Star Trek, opened up, and you're inside. First thing, light bulb goes off. Second thing, question mark. Light bulb. Light bulb saying, what do I need? Secondly, is this right for me? I want you to read the label. So you're going down the aisle and you say, well, I could use some crackers. Well, guess what? Most crackers have a ton of like hydrogenated fats. We're going to talk about that today. Not great for you. Put it back. Go over to the bread section. Maybe you can toast some bread. That'll be a good cracker. Or maybe there's a cracker out there that's all natural and it has no preservatives. Read the label. If it has a bunch of chemicals, that's not how Mother Nature wanted you to consume your food. So food consciousness. It's key. It's key because if you start being aware of your food, you see, I've done a lot of shows here up until now about supplementation. If you're just tuning in, this is the Lifestyles Nutrition Radio program, and I'm Amit S.Katz. So if you're tuning in for the first time and you haven't heard past shows or you haven't gone to YouTube and looked it up because I post everything after the show, I talked about inflammation in the past weeks and arthritis and joints and things like that. And I've given a couple of really cool protocols on how to, and supplements that you may or may not know about. But the root of the problem starts with your diet. And if we can start cleaning up that diet, we can start getting to a point where all these wonderful things that I've spoken about in the past, they will work even better. And not only that, if you have inflammation in your body, it's not just going to be in joints. It will be elsewhere in the body. I'm sure you've heard of Crohn's disease. That's inflammation gone wrong. Arthritis, yes, inflammation gone wrong. Cancer, prostate enlargement. Each one of these is inflammation gone wrong. And that's directly related to your diet, because if you're eating packaged goods and an abundance of them, and you're not getting enough fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, meats that haven't been played with all kinds of the livestock hasn't been messed around with, then you're eating these foods, you're going to have problems, and they're going to encourage inflammation. But the most important thing about this consciousness is being aware of what is right to eat and what is wrong to eat. And today, coming up after the break, I'm going to talk about 5 foods that increase inflammation, and they're pretty broad, ubiquitous, and we all indulge in them. And at 30 past the hour, I'm going to talk about 5 foods that reduce inflammation. And some of that might be new to you, some of that may not be new to you, but I guarantee you're going to be surprised. And the next time you walk into the market and you hear my little voice in your head, where's your little light bulb? Is it on? Ding. Good. Where's your question mark? Is it standing right next to the light bulb? Perfect. You're armed and ready to not only shop just for sustenance, you're armed and ready to shop for health. And being armed and ready to shop for health is the number one place you need to be before you even get to talking about supplements, before you even get to talking about what type of exercise is healthy for me to do. And I'll promise you another thing. If you are sick at this point in time, you're listening to my voice and you have arthritis, you have irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, whatever ails you, if you start cleaning up your diet, you will feel better. Your energy will increase. I can't vouch that your palate will approve, but I will vouch for the DNA in your body, which will scream thank you. Your organs will say thank you. And when that happens, you will say thank you to yourself. And if you're the gatekeeper in your house, which means you're mommy unit, and that's how God designed us in a way. We're supposed to be man and woman, and or man and partner, whatever. I don't judge, but whoever does the shopping in the house controls the health of those that are in it. And if that person is shopping for wonderfully, beautifully, pristine foods as Mother Nature intended them, the other members of the house will feel better. Now, I announced last week that my guest was supposed to be Meredith Kennedy, our very own Meredith Kennedy from Pet Street and also from coolcooker.com. And she gave me this wonderful present of a cool cooker. And she was supposed to come on the show today. I had cooked a anti-inflammatory stew using a secret ingredient, which I'm not going to reveal now. But Meredith, unfortunately, was held up, and she's a vet, and she had to perform some life-saving surgery on a dear pet, somebody's dear pet, and therefore she couldn't make it into the studio. But thank you, Meredith, because she came through with flying colors. She left me a piece of her exotic cheesecake. And during the break, I'm going to partake of this cheesecake, which has berries on it, which is good for you, and a moderate amount of dairy, which again, don't make cheesecake your meal of choice in life. It doesn't fit in the food pyramid, but I'm going to be chowing down on that, and I'll take that as compensation for you not showing up, Meredith, and doing it at the last minute. But such is life. So when we come back from the break, I'm going to be doing 5 foods that increase inflammation, and that will be followed up in the segment after that by 5 foods that reduce inflammation. You are listening to the Lifestyles Nutrition radio program on Money Radio 1200.
If good health is important to you, look no further than products from Genesis Today. Genesis Today has a great line of nutritional supplements made from pure natural foods that your body can absorb, instead of chemical supplements manufactured in a laboratory. Genesis Today is a progressive nutrition company that specializes in superfoods. These exceptional plants and fruits are packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and other vital nutrients at 20 times, 100 times, even 200 times the nutritional value of common fruits and vegetables. These products are prepared with low to no heat so as not to destroy the nutrients, and package them in non-toxic glass bottles for your consumption. Visit Lifestyle Nutrition Center today to find out what Genesis Today product is right for you.
Whenever I work out, my joints ache the next morning.
It's embarrassing to have to take the elevator instead of walking up one flight of stairs because your knees and ankles grind.
I tried glucosamine, and it doesn't work.
Thank goodness I found out about Baxel. Now I'm ready to start my day.
Almost immediately I could feel the difference.
I needed Baxel's boost of hyaluronan.
It's safe, it's natural, and it's guaranteed joint relief.
Let me spell it out. BAXYL works.
Knees, shoulders, hips, back. Nothing felt good until I took Baxel.
There's nothing like feeling great.
Running a 10K.
Riding bicycles with my grandkids.
I really missed working in my yard on weekend. Thanks to Baxel, I spend every Saturday outdoors.
Baxel lets me be active without worrying about how you'll feel tomorrow.
I asked myself, why did I feel so old for so long?
Baxel is available at Lifestyles Nutrition Center and online at lifestylesnutrition.net. Your joints will thank you.
Have you ever gone to a health food store seeking help and left with a product you didn't trust and information that was less than reliable? That never happens at Lifestyles Nutrition Center in Indian Wells. We have over 20 years of matching our customers with the right supplements to enhance their life and improve their health. Come to Lifestyles and experience our experience. Feel better, look better. And now, through the summer months, receive 25% off of all of our store supplements. For more information, call 760-568-6522. And remember the name, Lifestyles, the first, the last, and the only health food store you will ever need.
Sport Clips Haircuts for Men is the ultimate guy's place with large flat-screen TVs playing sports, relaxing massage chairs, and the perfect place to get the best haircut for guys. Try the Sport Clips MVP, a precision haircut followed by an invigorating scalp massage, a hot steam towel treatment, and a relaxing neck and shoulder massage. You'll leave feeling like a new man. With 3 convenient Sport Clips Valley locations in La Quinta, Palm Desert, and in Palm Springs, you can just walk in and get a great haircut, no appointment needed. Visit Sport Clips closest to you today. It's good to be a guy.
Memory. It can be, less than reliable. Do you ever walk into a room and forget why you went in there? Ever lose your train of thought right in the middle of a conversation? What about misplacing your car keys or misplacing the whole car? If you think about it, your brain controls everything you do, walking, talking, and remembering things. The healthier your brain is, the better it's able to control all these important functions. As a normal part of aging, our memory begins to fade. Prevagen was developed to improve memory and support cognitive function. If you're experiencing occasional absent-mindedness or just want to support healthy brain function, then visit Lifestyle Nutrition Center in Indian Wells and ask for Prevagen. Prevagen is also available by calling 760-368-6522. Call 760-368-6522 or visit Lifestyle Nutrition Center and ask for Prevagen today.
The financial and business news you need, along with local business experts. Coachella Valley Business for Breakfast with Marshall Gilbert. Weekday mornings at 8.
I know when to go out. I know when to stay in. Get things done.
Before I went to break, I was talking about food consciousness, and for those of you who are experiencing inflammation, we're going to elaborate or get deeper into the idea of food consciousness, especially in the area of inflammation. Because if you are experiencing inflammation, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, back pain, or pretty much any type of disease, the root of it is usually inflammation. And if we can start coming back from inflammation, we can start coming back and fixing that. But until we start addressing inflammation, we're going to be dancing around the whole issue and not dealing with the main issue. And that's it's kind of like, okay, let's say you went to the Louvre and you want to go see the Mona Lisa, right? So you're instead of looking at the Mona Lisa's face, you looked at the frame, you looked at the signature, but you didn't look at the Mona Lisa herself. And without looking at the face of the Mona Lisa, you didn't see the Mona Lisa. Okay, I'm sorry. You went to Paris, you went to the Louvre, you spent your money, you went up to the third floor, you stood in line, everybody was there, all the tourists from Asia were there, everybody else was there, and you didn't see you missed the point. So the point of inflammation is to understand that it's a good chunk of it is actually generated by your diet. And I'm going to give you the top 5 foods that increase inflammation, and then when we come back from the break, we're going to be talking about the 5 foods that you should add to your diet to definitely reduce inflammation. So, now, this list, again, there are things here that pain me to talk about them on this list because I love them too, just like you. And number 1 is no exception. Sorry, dudes. Sorry, bros. All my brosefs out there. Number 1 is beer. I know. It's painful to hear this, but we need to talk about it. Why beer? Why does beer encourage inflammation? Beer is made up of grains. It can be made up of a bunch of grains, and they're fermented. And they're usually fermented with some component that's sort of yeasty. And beer and yeast and all of these things actually encourage a chemical cascade that increases inflammation. Again, how much beer causes inflammation? For a normal person, you're talking about two a day, 2 or 3 beers a day. Now, if you have inflammation, don't drink beer. You need to avoid it like the plague. If you have inflammation and today you walked into your supermarket, we talked about this at the beginning of the show. 2 things should go off. 1, the light bulb, and 2, the question mark right next to it. So you got in there. You didn't come in there necessarily to buy beer. You came in there to buy food, and then you happened to be walking down that aisle, and then the question mark came out. Is this right for me? Is this wrong to me? Wrong for me? Now, if you're listening to the show and these words come back to you and they say, well, I have arthritis, or I have pain, or I have an injury, and it's not healing as fast as I'd like it to, or I have back pain, or knee pain, or neck pain, I shouldn't be drinking beer. So that's number 1. Number 2, corn. Yes, corn. Corn is fun. I know we all like corn on the cob. We like to shuck that corn, have it next to our steak. We'll have popcorn when we go to the theater. There's a problem with corn, people. Corn is very high. Well, two things went wrong with corn. Corn is no longer an heirloom grain. An heirloom grain is a grain that existed before the modern era, meaning before we started genetically manipulating it for greater yields, to have certain color, to have certain size, to have certain taste or flavors to it. And you can do that to almost any vegetable out there. You can manipulate things, genetically play around with it so that it resists blights, it resists all kinds of pests, and that it's hardy and that it has a certain flavor. We can play around with this. We know how to do this. If we can, let's put it this way. If we can genetically design a dog to have, to be a certain size, have a certain amount of teeth, a certain amount of color, a certain amount of power to it, yeah, you better believe we can manipulate corn. And that's what we've been doing. Now, heirloom corn that is just almost doesn't exist. In fact, a few years back, there was a bit of a crisis in the corn industry where a certain amount of genetically modified corn entered back into where it shouldn't have been, and then it got mixed in, and therefore they were saying we don't even know what's genetically modified and what isn't. It's all somehow it's all bled into one another. So we can't find that corn, at least in North America. I mean, you can go to other places in the world where there is heirloom corn, but not in the States. So what's so bad about corn? The second thing that's bad about corn is that it's extremely high in a essential oil called omega-6. And when your diet is higher, when you have an increase in your daily intake of omega-6 relative to omega-3, it causes inflammation. The antidote to that is to obviously eat more omega-3, which is all the fish and fish oils and fish oil capsules and all of that. But corn, very high in omega-6. And very bad for you. Number 3 on the list, wheat, and more importantly, specifically the protein found in wheat and different grains called gluten. This is gaining a lot of attention in the last few years. We're finding that there's a lot of people out there that are, I mean, if you know that you have full-blown celiac disease, which is, you know that you cannot process wheat and gluten, and I know that's great. Then perfect. Then you already know that you shouldn't be eating this stuff. But there's a portion of the population that's just knocking around with a mild case of gluten intolerance, and they don't even know it. And that builds up over a period of time. And then they'll eat something, I don't feel so good, right after they eat it. I see this, I hear this all the time. And it's very, very difficult to get to that realization. And in many ways it may take 20 or 30 years for you to hit on the idea that I'm not feeling so great when I eat wheat. But by then, it's caused all kinds of inflammation in your body, including arthritis and pain and irritable bowel syndrome and all kinds of stuff. So if you have inflammation and you're going shopping today and you walked into the supermarket, what did I say earlier? What did Amit S.Katz from the Lifestyles Nutrition Radio program tell you? Light bulb should go off, question mark, followed by a question mark. Does this product have wheat? Does this product have gluten? If it does, put it back, find something else. Number 4, fried foods. Fried foods, I'm going to throw a whole bunch of oils that have been manipulated into that group. So it's anything that's been fried, anything that's saturated, like shortening, anything that's been hydrogenated. You'll see that on a package. It'll say contains hydrogenated corn oil or hydrogenated palm oil. And canola oil. All of these are manipulated oils that the body has a hard time processing, and they will all cause inflammation. So if you're eating Ritz crackers that have hydrogenated oil in them, you walked into the supermarket, put it back. If you have inflammation, don't be eating plates and plates of fried food. And if you're going to go and buy an oil to cook with, don't shoot for canola oil, high in omega-6. Number 5 on the list, this is number 5 from the foods that increase inflammation, deli meats. Deli meats are high in nitrates. Those are the preservatives. And when you when you have inflammation in your body and you consume foods that are high in nitrates, those nitrates go to those joints, go to those areas, and create a chemical reaction that increases inflammation. In fact, a few years ago, I had a guy in my store who had a wound that wouldn't heal, and we sort of talked about his diet, and we found out that he was eating all kinds of cold cuts and stuff, and not just cold cuts, but frozen hot dogs and things like that. He removed them from the diet, and his wound started to heal. So nitrates are really, really bad for you. So let's recap before we go to break. 5 foods that increase inflammation. 1, beer. 2, corn. 3, wheat/gluten. 4, fried foods, saturated fats, or hydrogenated foods, omega-6 and canola oil, all in the same group. And number 5, deli meats that are preserved with nitrates. So we're going to go to break right now. When we come back, we're going to do the flip side of that, which is 5 foods that reduce inflammation. And then we're going to do best question of the week and herb of the week. You are listening to the Lifestyles Nutrition Radio program on 1200 Money Radio.
NBC News Radio, I'm Melissa Rayberger. Day 6 of the government shutdown. Congress returns to Capitol Hill tomorrow with positions that seem to only have hardened over the weekend. New York Democrat Senator Charles Schumer told ABC's This Week that House Speaker John Boehner reneged on a deal for a clean spending plan made earlier this week.
We gave in to his number, and then he said Obamacare. He keeps throwing different things at the wall, and we know the reason why. Ted Cruz and the hard-right Republicans are holding him hostage, in effect.
Boehner, also on ABC's This Week, said he will not allow a vote on a bill to reopen government without serious talks about spending. He also said he will not go forward with a bill increasing the government's borrowing authority without a similar conversation. The price of gasoline is down again. The price per gallon on average is $3.38, down 14 cents over the past 2 weeks. This is NBC News Radio.
At AdvanceAutoParts.com, we'll sell you parts and deliver them straight to your door. But do we stop there? Well, technically, yes. We don't come inside your house or anything, but we do keep going. Metaphorically. Because when you spend $75 or more, that delivery is absolutely free. Great deals, great parts, and free delivery. All at AdvanceAutoParts.com. One more way. Service is our best part. Advance Auto Parts. See site for details.
Let's get it started. I own 3 coffee shops, so you never have to say, perk up. But I just discovered the new services center at OfficeMax. Their team designed our new logo, helped set up our website, and printed our signs, banners, and pastry menus on time and on budget. It's so energizing. And I'm drinking decaf.
Get special introductory offers now at the new OfficeMax Services Center. You'll find over 60 print services. Learn more in-store or at OfficeMax.com.
Now you can get all the information you need to know about what's happening in the local real estate and finance markets and how to take advantage of that knowledge on Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio, weekdays at 9 a.m. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, Ron and his panel of guests have their pulse on the Southern California markets. Can't wait for mortgage advice? Call Ron now at 1-800-306-1990 and listen to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio, weekday mornings at 9, right here on Money Radio 1200.
The Beacon is now lighting the desert, the Coachella Valley's free monthly community newspaper for adults 50 and older. The Beacon features sections on health, law and money, arts, travel, local news, and more, like free Mary Pickford movie tickets. Look at page 2 of The Beacon, then be one of the first 10 people to call 760-668-2226. Mention Money Radio 1200 and answer the question correctly, and you'll win 2 tickets. Pick your copy up now at over 700 locations or see them online at thebeaconnewspapers.com.
If you're investing, saving, planning for retirement, there's one common thread. We're talking about money, and we do it every day. Money Radio 1200.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Lifestyles Nutrition Radio program. Before we went to break, I was discussing inflammation. 5 foods that increased inflammation. Actually, during the break, I had a wonderful chance to have some cheesecake that was left to me as an offering by our very own Meredith Kennedy from Pet Street. Her father has made this amazing thing called the Cool Cooker, and I got one from her, one of the prototypes as a gift. And for this show, I was going to do a anti-inflammatory stew because that's the topic of the show today. We're talking about foods that create inflammation and foods that reduce inflammation. And I was going to use that cool cooker and just throw in a bunch of stuff that is safe to say if you ate it every day, it would reduce inflammation in the body. Now, Meredith had to go off and perform some life-saving surgery on one of our furry friends, and she couldn't make it in today. But she left me one of the cheesecakes that she made, and during the break, I just pounded it. I just finished the whole thing off. It was so delicious. Okay, so can you imagine okay, think about it this way. This cool cooker, I mean, let's put it this way. There's something that happens when Pops is a physicist, and he can think like a physicist and then put it to really good everyday use. So Mr. Kennedy, Meredith's father, designed a unit that you can put all the ingredients in it. You'll keep it cool. It's got a timer on it that it will switch on, cook whatever's in there, and then once it's done, if you don't consume it, there's another setting that will actually chill it, keep it at perfect temperature for you, so it won't spoil. Now, Meredith has just been experimenting with this thing, and I came up with the stew. We were going to sit here, I was going to bring the stew in, and it was an anti-inflammatory stew, but she's gone the direction of doing all kinds of cheesecakes and stuff like that. So she left me this beautiful cheesecake. It was yummy. Maybe next week we'll do, if there aren't any emergencies, we'll do my anti-inflammatory stew with the secret ingredient. I'm going to keep you in suspense for another 7 days, and then we'll chow down on some cheesecake, and merriment will be had by all. So let's do this. 5 foods that reduce inflammation. If you're just tuning in, this is the Lifestyles Nutrition Radio program, and I'm Amit S.Katz from Lifestyles Nutrition Center, the health food store, the only health food store in Indian Wells. And we're going to do 5 foods that reduce inflammation. So, number 1, I'm going to get all hoity-toity on you right now. Or not hoity-toity, I'm going to get all pretentious on you. All members of the Zingiberaceae family. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what on earth is the Zingiberaceae family? Can't you talk English? Well, I'm sorry. That's the Latin name for this family of nutrients, and they are all basically the ginger family. All herbs of the ginger family are anti-inflammatory. Now, what are you going to find in the ginger family? You're going to find turmeric. That's that yellow pigment or that yellow spice that you'll find in mustard. Mustard seed doesn't come looking like that. They'll throw that, they'll either put food coloring, and therefore you should really not consume that mustard. But they'll use it in to give it that yellow color. They'll throw it in curries. You'll see it in plenty of curries. It has a beautiful yellow, bright yellow color to it. And it's used in these curries for it's not a powerful flavor, but it kind of enhances the other ingredients in there. And turmeric has been getting a lot of attention as an anti-inflammatory, and because of its anti-inflammatory action, it actually reduces, now we're talking about its ability to boost the immune system and fight cancer. So turmeric, ginger, obviously, ginger family, ginger, the herb. There's a ginger which is used in Thai cooking called galangal. It looks a little bit like ginger. It's a little bit harder. You know, if you've ever had like tom yum kun soup or anything like that, especially if you had like a hot pot, there'll be like this one chunk. It looks like ginger, but looks like it's actually hard, like a piece of wood, and that's galangal. And then a few weeks ago, I spoke about the herb cardamom. Cardamom is also related to the ginger family. So, number 1 of the 5 foods that you should eat every day, especially if you have any type of inflammation in the body and any type of chronic condition, such as irritable bowel syndrome, or migraines, or urinary tract infections, anything like that, or like reoccurring colds and flus, or you're just keeps on coming back. Let's reduce the inflammation. Number 1 thing, the ginger, herbs of the ginger family. Number 2, red wine. Okay? When I was talking about the 5 foods that increase inflammation, I spoke about beer. Okay, so I took your beer away, or at least I told you don't pound a whole keg of it, right? But go ahead and add red wine. And last week, herb of the week was red wine. Red wine, actually, it's pretty safe to say that if you consume anything red in Mother Nature that's not poisonous, which is a food, you're going to get an anti-inflammatory reaction from it. All red things in Mother Nature produce some type of pigment, and that's sort of an indication. Eat it. It's good for you. Reduces inflammation. It affects the bloodstream. So red wine. Resveratrol, I spoke about that last week. The active ingredient in red wine is a nutrient called resveratrol, and it's amazing stuff. Protects the DNA chain. It encourages proper heart function, reduces buildup around the heart. Beautiful. Just an amazing nutrient. And yes, red wine. Number 3 on our list of 5 foods that reduce inflammation. Berries. All berries. Again, anything that's blue or anything that's red, that has red pigment in it, safe to say, it meets the safe to say rule. Safe to say, it's going to be good for you. And in those berries, so you're asking me, well, what berries should I eat? Are raspberries good? Yes, it's a berry. Eat it. Are blueberries good for you? Yes, it's a berry. Eat it. Now, there are a few berries out there that are kind of funky and new, and maybe Dr. Oz hasn't talked about them quite yet. A few weeks ago, I did, herb of the week was goji berries. Yes, they're anti-inflammatory. They have all kinds of again, all the berries, they're good for reducing inflammation, but they have other wonderful health benefits to them. Goji berry encourages good skin, good eyesight, is really good for the liver. It's a powerful tonic for the kidneys. It's very good for women who are going through menopause. So there are other health benefits to these berries other than inflammation. Now, there's one which hasn't become very popular, but it's considered the most anti-inflammatory berry out there, and it's called maqui berry. It's found the native South American tribes eat this. It has a really dark sort of purple pigment. You're not going to be able to really find it fresh in our markets here, not yet, or dried. You're not going to find it like that, but you'll find it in a juice and you'll find it in a powder. And there's a company out there called Navitas, Navitas, and they're offering a maqui berry freeze-dried powder. It doesn't have a very powerful flavor. Let's put it this way. It looks better than it tastes. So it doesn't have any particular flavor, but it just yields this beautiful pigment. So let's recap. Number 1, ginger family. Number 2, red wine. Number 3, all berries. Oh, I forgot cherries. Yeah, go ahead. Eat some cherries. Good for you. Really good for gout. Really good for your joints. Number 4, green leafy vegetables. And in this at this time, yours truly is really big on kale. You know, I juice kale. I juice kale, and then the fibrous part of it, I go and I'll throw it in my anti-inflammatory stew as a thickener or in a soup. So I use the whole thing eventually. But kale, very anti-inflammatory. All green leafy vegetables are really good for you. And in fact, even though I'm supposed to be Mr. Health, I don't think I eat enough of them. So how much kale should you be eating a day, people? Get your kale. Make sure it's organic, though. Okay? There's a lot of kale out there that's pesticide ridden and laden and all kinds of stuff like that. Get organic kale, especially if you're going to juice it. And number 5, beans and specifically lentils. Lentils are, again, we're talking about a protein that's anti-inflammatory. Beans are anti-inflammatory, and lentils are anti-inflammatory. Now, there's a local boxer, you may know about him. His name's Timothy Bradley, and he's a vegetarian. He's got a fight coming up on October 13th against Juan Manuel Marquez. Big fight. And I had a chance to talk to him this week. I go down to the Boys and Girls Club in Indio, and I was there with the Diaz brothers. Joel Diaz is his coach, and he's considering that he's ranked a top 10 in the world, completely approachable guy. I just walked right up to him. We started talking about his vegetarian diet and things. He eats lentils. We talked about it. He juices kale, and if you see what these guys do on a daily basis in order to be at that level of an athlete, incredible. So if it's good for athletes who put their body through such wear and tear, how much better should it be for you, who you who do not expose yourself to that type of wear and tear. So let's recap. Foods that reduce inflammation. By the way, if you're tuning in right now, this is the Lifestyles Nutrition Radio program, and we are talking about foods that reduce inflammation. On the list, number 1, all members of the ginger family, meaning turmeric, ginger, galangal, and the spice cardamom. Number 2, red wine. You can find it either in bottles or you can get red wine extract in capsules. Number 3, berries, all berries, including raspberries, cherries, blueberries, goji berry, and maki berry. Number 4, all green leafy vegetables, and my number 1 favorite today, kale. And number 5, all beans, and in particularly lentils. So that was foods that reduce inflammation. We're going to go to break right now. When we come back from the break, we're going to do herb of the week and best question of the week. You are listening to the Lifestyles Nutrition Radio program on Money Radio 1200.
Memory. It can be, well, less than reliable. Do you ever walk into a room and forget why you went in there? Ever lose your train of thought right in the middle of a conversation? What about misplacing your car keys or misplacing the whole car? If you think about it, your brain controls everything you do, walking, talking, and remembering things. The healthier your brain is, the better it's able to control all these important functions. As a normal part of aging, our memory begins to fade. Prevagen was developed to improve memory and support cognitive function. If you're experiencing occasional absent-mindedness or just want to support healthy brain function, then visit Lifestyle Nutrition Center in Indian Wells and ask for Prevagen. Prevagen is also available by calling 760-368-6522. Call 760-368-6522 or visit Lifestyle Nutrition Center and ask for Prevagen today.
Sport Clips Haircuts for Men is the ultimate guy's place with large flat-screen TVs playing sports, relaxing massage chairs, and the perfect place to get the best haircut for guys. Try the Sport Clips MVP, a precision haircut followed by an invigorating scalp massage, a hot steam towel treatment, and a relaxing neck and shoulder massage. You'll leave feeling like a new man. With 3 convenient Sport Clips Valley locations in La Quinta, Palm Desert, and in Palm Springs, you can just walk in and get a great haircut, no appointment needed. Visit Sport Clips closest to you today. It's good to be a guy.
Whenever I work out, my joints ache the next morning.
It's embarrassing to have to take the elevator instead of walking up one flight of stairs because your knees and ankles grind.
I tried glucosamine, and it doesn't work. Thank goodness I found out about Baxel. Now I'm ready to start my day.
Almost immediately I could feel the difference.
I needed Baxel's boost of hyaluronic.
It's safe, it's natural, and it's guaranteed joint relief. Let me spell it out. B-A-X-Y-L works. Knees, shoulders, hips, back. Nothing felt good until I took Baxel.
There's nothing like feeling great.
Running a 10K.
Riding bicycles with my grandkids.
I really miss working in my yard on weekend. Thanks to Baxel, I spend every Saturday outdoors.
Baxel lets me be active without worrying about how you'll feel tomorrow.
I asked myself, why did I feel so old for so long?
Baxel is available at Lifestyles Nutrition Center and online at lifestylesnutrition.net. Your joints will thank you. If good health is important to you, look no further than products from Genesis Today. Genesis Today has a great line of nutritional supplements made from pure natural foods that your body can absorb, instead of chemical supplements manufactured in a laboratory. Genesis Today is a progressive nutrition company that specializes in superfoods. These exceptional plants and fruits are packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and other vital nutrients at 20 times, 100 times, even 200 times the nutritional value of common fruits and vegetables. These products are prepared with low to no heat so as not to destroy the nutrients and package them in non-toxic glass bottles for your consumption. Visit Lifestyle Nutrition Center today to find out what Genesis Today product is right for you.
Have you ever gone to a health food store seeking help and left with a product you didn't trust and information that was less than reliable? That never happens at Lifestyles Nutrition Center in Indian Wells. We have over 20 years of matching our customers with the right supplements to enhance their life and improve their health. Come to Lifestyles and experience our experience. Feel better, look better. And now, through the summer months, receive 25% off of all of our store supplements. For more information, call 760-568-6522. And remember the name, Lifestyles, the first, the last, and the only health food store you will ever need.
Check out Money Radio online. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook by searching My Money Radio and get more at moneyradio1200.com.
Yeah, I could definitely get into this a little bit more. Yeah, just a few more seconds. Take me down to the river, baby. I don't smoke no cigarettes. This is a Lifestyles Nutrition radio program, people. Welcome back to the Lifestyles Nutrition radio program. Now, let's give respect and praise where respect and praise are due. Behind the knobs, making me sound like $1 million is our very own Valley Harvey. And without her, the tunes wouldn't be this great. And like I said, I wouldn't be $1 million. I might be $999,999 worth, but it ain't $1 million. So, Valley, thank you for the dollar.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you. That's some ego for you, people. I better turn the volume down on my ego and turn up the good info right here. So, before we went to break, the segment that I did was 5 foods that reduce inflammation, and Valley asked me, in what way should we consume the members of the ginger family? So all these things that we talked about, you can find them in spice: turmeric, ginger, galangal, and cardamom. They're all found in spice form, meaning either dried and ground. Turmeric and ginger are found in capsules also, in extract form. But getting familiar with these herbs and then incorporating them into your diet is a bit of a odyssey in and of itself. And once you start playing with them, you'll come up with your own ideas on how to incorporate them. So anyway, let's do best question of the week. Today, our best question of the week was sent to me on lifestylesweb@yahoo.com, and I encourage you to send me your questions at lifestylesweb@yahoo.com, because like I said, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000,000 times. This isn't a bum show, and if you send me a question, you get to win a prize of your choice at times. Don't ask for the kitchen sink. I ain't going to give it to you, but a nice bottle of something I'm more than happy to part with. Or I'm more than happy to part with a nice bottle of a supplement. Okay, so now that I've got my English squared away, this question comes from, best question of the week comes from Mark C. from La Quinta, and he says, "Hi Amit, is there anything you can recommend for IBS?" Yes, Mark. I'm going to keep it simple. There's, you can play around with a bunch of stuff out there. The number one thing that you need to do before any supplement works is, if you didn't listen to the show up until now, go back. I'll be throwing it up on Facebook, and when I get the file tomorrow, listen to the show. Eliminate at least the top 5 things that encourage inflammation in your diet. If you have IBS, chances are that you're not aware that either gluten, corn, beer, saturated fats, and nitrates in your diet are causing this IBS, or they are the root of the problem. So eliminate those before you even start taking any supplement. Start eating the 5 things that I've encouraged, that I've talked about on the show: lentils, green leafy vegetables like kale, all the berries, red wine, and any member of the ginger family. Once you do that, the following supplement will pay off in spades, and it's a Chinese herbal combination found in tea pill form, which are these little pellets. The formula is called Calm Wind. The Chinese name is Tong Xie Yao Feng Wan. Tong spelled T-O-N-G, Xie spelled X-I-E, third word Y-A-O, fourth is F-A-N-G, fourth is W-A-N. I'll post this on Facebook as well, so that it's out there and that you don't miss any of this. Now, strange thing about Calm Wind, some of the herbs in Calm Wind were actually cooked in red wine before they extract them and put them in the pill form. Now, what were we talking about earlier? Red wine being one of the 5 foods that reduce inflammation. So we're encouraging the anti-inflammatory response from the 4 herbs that are added, or that the 4 herbs that create, that go into making Calm Wind, and then we fortify them by cooking them in red wine. And that's something that the forefathers of traditional Chinese medicine and its herbal practice came across in the 13th century. So you're talking 1200 AD. And this has been with us for a long time. And I've seen people who have literally, you can go around, you can do a lot of stuff for IBS. Taking probiotics, yes, that's very important. There are all kinds of herbs that are very healing for the digestive tract, like licorice, and there's different fiber products and slippery elm and all these things. But as far as the silver bullet goes, I'd say calm wind. Come into the store, Mark. There'll be a bottle with your name behind the counter. Come in, say, hey, I'm Mark C. from La Quinta. Press the flesh with the Katz man. Now, I heard people say, hey, that sounds a little weird. It's just a handshake. Press the flesh, just squeeze my hand. That's all, people. Where are you going with this? And you'll get your free bottle. Now, let's do herb of the week. Herb of the week, Latin name is Cynara Carniculus. I'm sure here you go again with here he goes with the why are you throwing this obscure Latin name at us? Can't you just call it by its real name? Yeah, it's artichoke, okay? Don't push me, okay? I'm not having a good day here. Don't push me. So, Cynara carniculus is what we commonly call artichoke. Now, as an herb, what is it that you're supposed to consume from this plant? Is it the aerial part that grows from the ground up? Is it the leaves? Is it the bulb? Is it the artichoke hearts? Well, chances are that if you just eat the artichoke hearts, just the same as eating the rest of the leaves and all that. If you go to the store and you get it in capsule form, chances are they'll just dry the aerial part and they'll grind it up. All parts of artichoke are completely useful. It's just getting that into the body is the tricky part. So in food, getting artichoke hearts is really is the easiest way to do it. And, if you go and have an antipasta salad, yeah, it's going to have a bunch of artichoke hearts. Now, why is it herb of the week? I like herbs that kind of touch on the topic that we spoke about earlier, which is inflammation. And I like it when they do one thing in the body, and yet they have an application in a completely different area. So, artichoke has a way of acting first and foremost on the gallbladder. It draws bile down from the gallbladder, which means if there's tendency in the family to have gallstones, or if an uncle has gallstones and, something's going on there with gallbladder pain, and, you had a cousin who had his gallbladder taken out, maybe there's a propensity in the family, go ahead, eat artichoke. Because what this is going to do is it's going to draw bile down, and gallstones are basically hardened bile. That's bile that's crystallized. So if you're getting this bile coming down, it'll start dissolving it, keep the bile duct and it'll keep the gallbladder clear and the bile duct clear, and it'll keep on flowing, and then you won't get that stone. Now, that's your gallbladder. Now, the artichoke has a wonderful effect on lowering blood pressure because it works on the heart and cleanses the arteries around the heart. So you have your gallbladder and your heart. And then, in and of itself, it actually encourages digestion. So artichoke, just consumed regularly with pretty much anything, will strengthen your digestion. And then the last thing is it's anti-inflammatory. And now we're looking more into extracts of artichoke out there. We're finding that its anti-inflammatory effect is actually really good in preventing the beginning stages of different digestive cancers, cancers of the digestive tract. So, herb of the week, Cynara carniculus, also known as artichoke. Good for gallbladder problems, or preventing gallbladder problems, high blood pressure, cancer, and digestive problems. Before I go, next week we're going to try to get our very own Meredith Kennedy from Pet Street in. We're going to talk about the Cool Cooker, and we're going to talk about that anti-inflammatory stew that I cooked up this week. And, yeah, I think that's all I got for you folks. So anyway, be healthy, be happy. You're listening to Money Radio 1200.